All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with another little trying to help you out video, swapping a battery on one of these beloved and maligned R-Class Mercedes. This one's the 500. This is the first year. This is the 2006. I just picked this one up. I wanted to get something with a little bigger motor. I got this one, which is pretty awesome. That's a 45,000 mile R350, and of course it was banged up pretty good on the corners, and found it and been putting some money into it, getting it back together. But it's pretty slick, and but it is the 350, and doesn't sound as good as the M113, and I don't even want to talk about the AMG version yet. I just gotta try and find one of those someday where it's where it's affordable. But anyway, these things are ridiculous for guys like me. They're kind of grandpas hauling kids around. And then this one is gonna be kind of my mule. I fool around with a little bit. But it's got closer to 200K on it than anything. So again, I'm just starting patching it together. I did throw a set of aftermarket wheels on it. That's a tire rack wheel. I really like them. I've got them on winter tires for the 350. They look good and they weren't that expensive. What else can I tell you? Well, let's just dig in. They're both 4MATICs. This one's got more dings and stuff on it, a lot more miles. But a lot of people will tell you that you got to take the seat out to change a battery. And that's what I got to do. And anybody knows these things, or any kind of Benz, you got to keep that voltage up. And if you don't, you're going to be flashing codes and they're going to act weird. And that's the pure science of it. You gotta stabilize the bus and make sure you got enough juice in there, and really use an AGM battery where you can to keep that steady voltage. So you got to spend the dough on my recommendation. Spend the dough on an AGM. You get an AGM. You don't have to get an Odyssey, but I snagged this guy over here from O'Reilly. They were pitching me on the Odysseys, and I know those are good. I've used them in power equipment and stuff in the past, but these are fine. Just one tip along the way with this stuff. I learned this several years ago after lots of different cheap battery tenders and things, but I use two different types now. These Nocos, I've been using those for a few years. They're great. You can get different lengths and snap them together, different connections. And then you've got of course the C-Techs, and I've been using those for a while. And basically the first thing I do when I'm yanking on a battery out of one of these things is get it on float. Don't forget, you got it on float. I just do it as a preventive measure to keep the electronics running while I'm disconnecting the battery. And of course this one does have the auxiliary battery in it, and you can tell that in these things when you got this separate wire here coming through, this ground wire, and it's heading under that battery that's under the seat. This one's not getting the error. It probably needs one, but it hasn't shown any symptoms of that. But it has shown the symptoms of, let me just say it this way, 11.8 volts. And so this one's got to come out and go. All right, so net, I'm not going to show you all the steps because there's lots of people who do that stuff with you, but hey, look, here's a drill. You got to roll the seat all the way back, peel up this front edge from in front of the seat. Just peel this back. It's tough to get in, and if you know anything about these things, you got to be careful with the plastics and everything. So you be really careful pulling the trim pieces off of the seat rails in the front, and bend this, but don't bend it too hard. But you got to bend it enough to get it up and out. But free it up from the front by moving the seat and everything back all the way. You can get to it, peel it up, get the two little trim pieces off, like this side piece. Get that thing off with your hands and try not to break them. And that's where you head. And then just make sure you leave yourself some room in the back. And you're able to, you know, peel the sides up, pull this back, all done with my hands. And oh, I didn't have to get any crowbars or sledgehammers or anything in here to get there. I was pretty pleased to see how clean it was. It was entertaining. This one's like a positive setup. Where the heck are those caps? Anyway, it had red caps on both sides saying positive. It made me laugh. But ground's on this side over here, and then you got the positive. And when you got two set of red caps, that'll cause you to hesitate. But oh yeah, here they are. See them down here? Yeah, there's one on each side, both positive. Made me laugh. So anyway, now it's just a matter of, you know, carefully doing a couple things. You got to get this plenum out, right? And this plenum covers the whole thing here. It connects into the heat here. And what I do, since it's the second one, I act like I've done 1,000 of them, but I haven't. It's the second one I've done. See these two black plastic screws here. Loosen those up, and then loosen the ones up in the front. You can see those buggers in there too, under there. And you don't have to remove the front ones. I remove the back ones when I do it, just to give me a little more room to get off the pins and get in here. I've already vacuumed, right? Make sure you got a vacuum. You got enough. There's always all kinds of goodies in there, and I've already saved another 25 cents finding a quarter down in there. So all kinds of gems can be found. And then carefully, it feels like it won't come, but you can get that plenum out of there. And then you're ready to go. You're just ready to roll. Since I got it on float, I'm gonna go, the next thing I'm gonna do is what anybody can do is just go ahead and get the battery terminals off. Always hit the ground first. Some guys say, well, you know, I'm gonna get this one because it's easier. Hey, look, you know, nobody needs that arcing and sparking. So pull the ground off first. And these Benzes have, you know, very nice connections. Get yourself an extension, and here you go. It's this guy right here. And then, you know, carefully get that thing pulled off there. And of course, clean it up before you put it on, and be very careful with the pigtail on this. I'm going to keep it connected as I pull it up. I'll typically wrap it in either some heavy paper towel and a little electrical tape or something, but I just like to keep it protected so it doesn't get pinched or anything when I'm yanking that 300-pound battery out of there. The vent, I'll pull the vent line off here, and of course see the post here, and all this stuff is 10 millimeter. And then you got the two bolts down in the bottom well there. You see it down at the bottom. That's the battery hold down. And if I remember right, you can get it out of there without taking them all the way out. The battery will slip out. I think I'm just going to pull them out, and well, I'll probably try it. But you know, you just want it out of your way, because this thing is heavy, and you got to, you know, I always wrap the positive too, so I don't want to accidentally, you know, tap that thing while I'm pulling this battery out of there, because it's a bit of a challenging angle, and you got to, you know, tip it to the side to get it out. I'll save you all that stuff. That's the scoop. And then, you know, you'll get this thing back to where any of these cars, you're back to where they need to be. They got to have proper voltage to be, you know, a little less unreliable. And I say that lovingly because, you know, I like these goofy things, and I've had several Benzes over the years, and these, to me, newer ones, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, like that 350 I have is a 2010. This one's a 6, and I've got a 9 CLK 550, and they're just very sensitive, and you already know that if you got one. So just take care of it and keep rolling. What else can I say? A couple things coming. If you ever done brake jobs on any kind of car, you can do them on these. It's pretty straightforward. Really helps to get it up in the air a little bit and work underneath. If you know somebody that's got a lift, or you can get a scissors under it or something like that. But it can be done. And I always, you know, use good rotors and soften up pads. It's not a hot rod or anything, but I will be doing that eventually on this one. Although it's pretty good. Pedals just got a little extra play in it, a little bit of wear there. When I did this one, I used parts from FCP. This one has the the faux or AMG parts. This one's got the vented rears. It's kind of unusual. But those are one of their brands, and it took a while for them to bed in, but boy, they bedded in nice. I did rotors, of course, and pads, and got everything in, and it's been absolutely fantastic. The braking came around pretty substantially after about 100 miles, and they got settled in. I'm real happy with them. So again, be doing the same here. As I can see, this one doesn't have the vents. But anyway, enough rambling there. I'll do a couple more things, next couple of easy things. This way, it kind of helps us, picking this stuff up and doing some of these things for when we got to spend big money, right? I mean, you're going to spend big money at some point with these things one way or another. You buy them cheap, and anybody knows, you can buy them cheap. Buy them right, buy them cheap, and you're still going to end up having to do it, right? One thing that kills me is the second key, right? You buy one, well, we only got one key. Well, there's 500 right there. And it's unfortunate, but it is. And but once you got it, you got a heck of a vehicle here that very comfortable, very powerful. The R500 is very powerful to drive, very pleasant to drive. And, this thing looks like an alien and drives like an S-Class. And it's a very pleasant vehicle. So anyway, hope this helps you on the easy stuff. And enjoy your art classes and all this. And feel free to, leave a comment or whatever. I'm not pitching this stuff or anything. I'm just doing it because it's a job I don't mind doing, and I like doing, and like to help people out. And I hope this helps. Thanks.